What is strategic sourcing? Strategic sourcing is a procurement process that involves evaluating and selecting suppliers based on a variety of factors, such as cost, quality, and delivery times. It is a systematic approach to sourcing that considers the total cost of ownership, including indirect costs and risks, as well as the strategic value that the supplier can provide. Why is strategic sourcing important? Strategic sourcing can bring numerous benefits to organizations, including reduced costs, improved quality, and increased efficiency. By carefully evaluating and selecting suppliers, organizations can ensure that they are getting the best value for their money and that they are working with suppliers that align with their business goals and values. In this video, we will walk you through the steps of how to do strategic sourcing and provide tips and best practices along the way. Step 1. Define your requirements. The first step in strategic sourcing is to clearly define your requirements. This includes identifying the products or services you need to purchase, the quantity you need, and the specifications and requirements for each item. It is important to be as detailed as possible in order to ensure that suppliers have a clear understanding of what you are looking for. Step 2. Conduct a market analysis. The next step is to conduct a market analysis to determine what suppliers are available and what they can offer. This can involve researching potential suppliers online, attending trade shows, or reaching out to industry associations or experts. You should also gather information on the market trends and prices for the products or services you need to purchase. Step 3. Develop a supplier scorecard. Once you have gathered information on potential suppliers, you can develop a supplier scorecard to evaluate them. This scorecard should include criteria such as cost, quality, delivery times, and any other factors that are important to your organization. It is also important to consider the supplier's ability to meet your requirements and their overall reputation. Step 4. Conduct supplier evaluations. With the supplier scorecard in hand, you can now conduct supplier evaluations. This may involve visiting the supplier's facilities, reviewing their financial statements, or checking references. You should also reach out to the supplier to discuss any specific questions or concerns you may have. Step 5. Negotiate contracts. Once you have evaluated your suppliers, you can negotiate contracts with the best candidates. It is important to consider the total cost of ownership, including indirect costs and risks, as well as the strategic value that the supplier can provide. You should also negotiate terms such as payment terms, delivery times, and any other conditions that are important to your organization. Step 6. Implement and monitor the contract. Once the contract is in place, it is important to implement it effectively and monitor it to ensure that the supplier is meeting your requirements. This may involve setting up a system for tracking deliveries and payments, conducting regular supplier performance evaluations, and communicating with the supplier to resolve any issues that may arise. Tips and best practices. Involve key stakeholders. It is important to involve key stakeholders in the strategic sourcing process, including procurement, finance, and operational teams. This will ensure that everyone is on the same page and that all relevant considerations are taken into account. Plan ahead. Planning ahead is critical for a successful strategic sourcing process. This includes considering the timing of the procurement process and the lead time for each product or service. Consider total cost of ownership. When evaluating suppliers, it is important to consider the total cost of ownership, including indirect costs and risks, as well as the strategic value that the supplier can provide. Communicate clearly. Communication is key in the strategic sourcing process. This includes communicating with potential suppliers to clarify requirements, negotiating contracts, and resolving any issues that may arise. Clear and effective communication can help to ensure that the strategic sourcing process runs smoothly and that everyone is on the same page. Evaluate suppliers regularly. Regular supplier evaluations are important to ensure that the supplier is meeting your requirements and that the relationship remains strong. This can help to identify any potential problems early on and ensure that the supplier continues to provide value to your organization. Continuously review processes. Strategic sourcing is an ongoing process, and it is important to continuously review and improve the process to ensure that it remains effective. This includes assessing the results of the supplier evaluations, monitoring the contract, and considering new suppliers as needed. Strategic sourcing is a critical component of procurement that can bring numerous benefits to organizations, including reduced costs, improved quality, and increased efficiency. By following the steps outlined in this video, organizations can ensure that they are getting the best value for their money and that they are working with suppliers that align with their business goals and values. Remember to involve key stakeholders, plan ahead, consider the total cost of ownership, communicate clearly, evaluate suppliers regularly, and continuously review processes to ensure success in your strategic sourcing efforts. That's all, friends, for today. See you in our next video in this series. Take care and stay healthy.